off, I'd like to start with a staggering survey that I came across a couple months ago. The survey conducted by the MIT Technology Review states that perceived life satisfaction in third world in countries such as Brazil, Costa Rica, and Panama is higher than in North America. Now, here in the United States, we have a reputation of being one of the top, if not the top countries in the world. We have resources at an arm's reach that people in other countries would die for. So it begs the question if perhaps our blessings and opportunities are the ones interfering with our ability to be happy. I think not. I think it is the way we perceive those opportunities that is our true hindrance. I've lived in the United States a total of 9 years. And it wasn't until the third time that I lived here that I truly grasped a concept that I hadn't noticed before. Here we have opportunity, we have freedom, we have rights. We have everything we need for every single one of us to be successful in our own fields of work. Then why aren't we? The University of British Columbia compiled this annual happiness report, which is overseen by the United Nations. And in it, the Danes took the lead. The top countries generally rank highest in 6 of the key factors identified in the report. And these are a high GDP per capita, healthy life expectancy at birth, a sense of social support, lack of corruption in leadership, a sense of generosity, and freedom to make life choices. Now, where does the United States land in this report? Perhaps 2nd place? Perhaps 5th place? Or 10th? The United States is 17th in this report. I'm convinced it is because in the United States, we have a paradigm of slight pessimism. And our culture fails to teach us one of the most important things that we can control and leverage, which is our attitude. So let me explain. Our attitude is like an Instagram filter. Okay? You can have an awesome picture, but if you apply a lousy filter, you will have a pretty lousy picture. Likewise, if you have a terrible picture, but you apply a dynamic filter, you can have a pretty awesome picture. And so the point of the analogy is that attitude is completely up to you. And what I'll be talking about today is how my experiences, having lived in 6 countries, moved around roughly 10 times, has forced me to grasp this idea that most people don't seem to understand until either they're older, more experienced, or perhaps never. Or perhaps never. I believe in the power of a good book, a powerful speech, a picture that resonates with our individual battles, a medium that inherently drives us to become a better person, a better friend, a better individual. And I will be sharing with you today what I believe to be the key to living a more fulfilling life from a college student's perspective, and with the goal for this video to be a catalyst for change and improvement in your lives. So the best thing about attitude is that it goes both ways. John Milton said it best when he says the mind is its own place, and in it can create heaven of hell or hell of heaven. And essentially, it's up to you. When we were younger, we would always know that we were going to move because we would always find a little book under my parents' bed that said something along the lines of how to live and work in Switzerland or how to live and work in Grand Cayman. And as a little kid, that really struck you hard because you had developed your friends, you had developed your school, you had developed a sense of comfort, something we all inherently seek. And so I clearly remember one of my good friends coming up to me and saying, Hugo, aren't you sad you're going to have to restart and make new friends and basically start all over again? And thankfully, my parents always had the opposing view, and they would always say, this is such a great opportunity for you to learn, for you to travel, and so on. And thankfully, I always took their view, but I realized that I had a choice. Just like everyone here has a choice to make the best of everything, I had a choice to make the best of everything. And I did. Even when we were living in Canada, and it was -30 outside, it was snowing, and we'd have to take our dog out for a walk, you'd have to make the best of that or else you'd go crazy. So, with attitude comes an attitude of gratitude. It's a powerful but simple habit that we all seem to take for granted. A study done at the University of Pennsylvania and published in the Journal of American Psychology in 2005 stated that psychologists have scientifically proven that the greatest contributing factor to living a fulfilling life is how much gratitude you show. Now, I want you guys to all close your eyes. Every single one of you to close your eyes and visualize somebody who has been there for you every single step of the way, somebody who has helped you accomplish what you are today. I want you to think of all the opportunities that you've taken because of them and how they prepare you to be where you are today. Now, I want you to think your life without them, as if they never existed. Would you still be where you are today? Would you have accomplished what you have accomplished today? Now you can open your eyes. And the point of that was to show you that something as meaningful as an individual who has made you who you are, we take for granted every day. And as college students, we take many things for granted, especially where we go to school. You know, I was in Colombia this spring break, and we went to visit where my parents went to college, and no offense, but we're pretty blessed in the United States. And so, I want you all to remember that when you're truly feeling happy and satisfied, to stop and take a mental snapshot, or in our time of age, Instagram. When you move a lot of things happen really fast. And if you don't stop and smell the flowers, as they say, your life will be far less fulfilling. And something that's helped me, and I really want you guys all to promise me, I know it's a Saturday and we're in college, so we're probably going out today. So Monday, I want you all to promise me when you wake up to think of 3 things. 3 things that you're grateful for. They're going to be different for every single one of you. But I want you to think of 3 things that you usually don't even notice, but you truly are blessed for. And I want you to keep them in your mind throughout the day. And I promise you your day will be different. Especially if you're one of those people who say, oh, today isn't my day, or oh, I hate Mondays, or whatever. You're just focusing on the wrong things. And what I mean by focusing on the wrong things is that, for example, a police officer, when he's off duty, he's still focusing on all the infractions that people commit. You know, oh, that person didn't do the full 3-second stop at that stop sign. They're still thinking about that stuff because that is what they've trained their filter to be. And as college students, we have to train our filter to be one of optimism and of gratitude. And it will change everything for you. One of my favorite quotes is by Alphonse Carr, and he said, "Some people grumble because roses have thorns. I am grateful that thorns have roses." One of the most important lessons that I learned was about failure. I still question why failure is seen in such a negative light. Why is failure such a negative social dogma? It is simply an opportunity for you to learn and for you to grow. The problem is that it's in disguise. You know, my sister and I have done Taekwondo ever since we were about 4 years old, up until 16 or 17 when we got our black belt. So it's evidently been a pretty large part of our lives. And it took so long because we would have to restart every 3 or 4 years because they didn't offer the style of martial arts that we were doing. And many people would think that that was a failure in itself to even have began after, you know, the 3rd or 2nd time that you had to restart. But what I urge them is that when you have a slight detour from your main goal, to not get disillusioned, because what you learn in that detour can sometimes prove to be more meaningful and more experiential than what you would have learned if you had succeeded the first time. So, what I truly say is that relative success is just a sign that you've mastered that skill, while failure simply highlights what you need to work on. So the faster you fail, the faster you will succeed. Comfort zone is deadly. It kills opportunities, kills dreams, and it kills a little bit of fun. You have to get used to being comfortable with being uncomfortable. You know, to be quite honest with you, when I applied for this TED Talk, we had to submit a 30-second pitch as to what we were going to talk about. And to be honest with you, I didn't think what I was going to talk about, because if I knew, or if I started thinking about what I was going to talk about, I was probably going to get too scared about it and probably not even do it. And so what I want to emphasize with that is sometimes you have to just do it and learn on the way. Because we as humans are fooled by the illusion that sometimes we aren't ready. And that's just simply a justification for your comfort zone. Truth is, you'll probably never be ready, so just do it. You know, I've always admired my parents because of their complete disregard for comfort zone. You know, for example, my dad moving from country to country, and not just himself, but bringing the whole family with him. I've always admired how he's done that. And then my mom taking care of all of us. and having to figure things out by herself in a country where she didn't even understand the language. And so I have a story for you guys that really drove it home for me, and I'm going to tell it to you guys real quick. We had just arrived at Zurich, and you know, my dad was at work. We had all just finished school. It was a Monday, and so in an effort to jumpstart our routine, my mom said we were going to go to the grocery store. So we go to the grocery store, and I don't know if you know, had I known she was going to do this, I probably would have gone. So we go to the grocery store, and I don't know if you know this, but in Europe, they like to eat a lot of diverse meats. They have, you know, they like to eat goat meat, rabbit, horse, and so on, and you know, we were used to eating the normal steak. And so she gets to the meat aisle, and all of the labels are in German, so she didn't know which one was which. So she picks them all up, all 6 of them, takes them to the cashier, and lays them down. Now, mind you, we had an audience of about 5 or 6 people. So she puts them down. She points at the first one, looks at the cashier, and just blurts out, "Room." Now, I didn't know where to hide. She didn't know where to hide. And all the cashier could muster up was a yes or a no. Now, the point of this story is to emphasize that sometimes in order to get what you need to get, you have to sacrifice a little bit of your comfort zone. And when you start doing these little sacrifices, your comfort zone will start getting bigger and bigger to the point that you won't mind doing some things that you wouldn't have done otherwise. And with that comes more opportunities and more experiences. I learned that happiness is not the absence of problems, but the ability to deal with them. As college students, we face stress. We face lifelong decisions that have lifelong repercussions. We face uncertainty. And I want to truly urge every single one of you to get in the habit of changing your paradigm and attitude towards life. At such a young age, it is especially important to do that. And I promise you everything will change for you. If you live a life of gratitude, you will live a different life. College is a prelude to your professional career. It's like a running start to your life. And it is your chance to make healthy and appropriate habits that can dictate the success you will have in life. Just like everything, college is 10% what you get and 90% what you make of it. Thank you.